Hello, 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 you lovely, lovely people. I am Jim Bob, and welcome back to another live stream here of Train Sim World from Dovetail Games. Today we're going to be looking at the German part of this content, so we're going to be heading over to Leipzig and checking out the S-Bahn. Why is it asking me to log in? I should already be logged in. Right. So today we're looking, as I say, at the rapid transit part, which is going to be the German section of this content. So we get to play around with another kind of metro system today. As with both the American version and the Great Western version, we have tutorials, and then we have scenarios, and then we can mess around with the services as well. So services will only give us the one train, because there is only one train in the German content. But as you can see, we go through again the same kind of presets that we want to choose as to what we want to look at. We'll have a look at snow a little bit later, because I know that some of you wanted to see some snow. So we will have a look at winter blizzard. But as you can see, again, we have a whole list of different services that we can run. Some on the entire route, some on just part of the route. So we're going to start off by looking at one of the scenarios first of all. So we have 5 scenarios to choose from. Rapid Transit, Metropolitan, Northbound, Leipziger, and Crosstown. They're all pretty easy, as you can see. They're all just one block showing on the difficulty meter there, so it doesn't really matter which one of these we do. I think we'll go with Northbound, because I haven't done this one yet. And you can see there, actually, that's showing how much of the line it's on, or what part of the line it's on. So we can find one that's a little bit bigger, perhaps. Let's go with Metropolitan. So it's good to see some regular faces popping up in the chat already. Hello there, Martin, Adam, Johnny, and Marcel. It's great to see you guys, and Nightmare Gaming as well. Do keep your questions popping in the chat if you have any questions as we go along. I will try and keep an eye on what's being popped in there where I can. We've got bad weather today. So welcome to Bitterfeld Station. Departing from platform 6, you'll be running an inter-suburban service stopping at all stations as far as Leipzig Konowitz. So let's make our way over to the front of the train. Very smart looking, snazzy looking train this. It's a lot more modern than the stuff we have here in the UK for the most part. A lot of our trains are very, very old. Right, so do the doors. We actually have buttons for this one, you can see here. Buttons on the dashboard, which makes things nice and easy. Just try and reposition the cursor. There we go. So just got to let the passengers load up. We're about a third of the way through at the moment. Mike and Without, hi guys, welcome to the stream. Looks like we see another service just pulling into the station actually. Should just see it through the window in a second. There it is. Almost done, so we'll get ready to close the doors. Got to wait till 10:45, so we've got about a minute or so before we need to get ready to head off. Let's just have a quick look at some of the other controls, make sure that things are where they need to be. So the reverse is in neutral. We need to change that to forward, obviously. Master switch. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here I need to worry about. The pantograph controls, they're all fine. Cabin lights are switched on, I believe. Oh, got reading lights. Ooh, that's funky. Oh, I like that. Let's go with reading lights. We're on marker lights, dimmed beam, high beam. It's a miserable overcast day. Let's go with some dimmed lights, I think, on this one. Johnny says he finds this train hard to use, loads of buttons to just to get it moving. It is one of the more complicated trains, that's definitely for sure. Right, we are ready to go. Let's lock the doors. And off we go. Brake is released. And we are off and away. One of the things I have noticed is that if you have the brake on by mistake or you apply some brake, sometimes you have to reset the throttle down to 0, make sure the brake is cleared before you can then reapply the throttle. Sometimes it just won't kick in until the brake is cleared. So what's our speed limit? 35, I think, at the moment. We need to get some wipers on because it's a bit miserable. Don't have wiper controls on the D-pad. Oops. Take the throttle on the train down. There we go. So I'm going to use the keyboard controls. Turn the wipers on. Press V on the keyboard. Because this game is awesome in the sense that it does actually allow keyboard inputs. So if you have a USB keyboard, you can get it plugged in. And we can toggle through different speeds on the wipers as well, which is always good. And we've got a little bit of space and time, so let's just take a quick look at our external view. Let's go with the front camera. Switch to camera mode. There is our train whizzing along. Let's take a quick look at our environment as well. Are they solar panels? Oh, they are. Look at that. We've got a solar farm just here. That's kind of cool. Getting a little bit more speed up. I love hearing the clickety-clack of trains going over rails. It's something just nice and reassuring about that sound, I think. Let's crack some power on. Where is this location? This is Germany. This is Leipzig in Germany. Oh, we're down to a single track. I didn't even see us merge away from that there. Going over the other rails, that's kind of cool. And coming back down again. Are we going to merge with that line just there, I wonder? So really cranking the speed up at the moment, hitting 92 miles an hour now. Oh. Just saw the signal change colour as we go through it there. That's kind of cool. That's a warning for any train behind us, obviously. Let's jump back into the internal. And let's start to put us into coasting mode. Actually, we better start applying the brake. Just seeing we're just over half a mile out from our first stop. Need to start reducing that speed. As a general rule, the game suggests that you shouldn't be doing more than 30 miles an hour as you're approaching the station itself. You know, as soon as you get to the platforms, you should be doing less than 30. I found that's probably a pretty accurate kind of guide. We're on the right-hand side, so we want the right doors opening. How do I make the keyboard work? It's just a simple USB keyboard. You just plug it in and it works. It's that simple. And where did I get the USB keyboard? Any old place, really. Just any standard USB keyboard will work. It doesn't have to be a one that's designed specifically for consoles. This is just a cheap Advent USB keyboard I got from my local supermarket. For a PC, it works just as well on the keyboard. It's a USB peripheral, so it's one size fits all in that respect. We're not moving because I started to apply the throttle while the doors were still closing. There we go. Once the doors are closed, now we can engage the throttle. I need to give a quick shout out, by the way, while I remember, to both Martin and Marcel, who have both recently made donations to the channel. Thank you very much, guys. It is hugely, hugely appreciated. And Martin's actually telling me you haven't made another donation already, have you, Martin? Let me just check. Absolute star, dude. You really don't have to have donated again so soon after the last time, but thank you very, very much. Every donation I receive is hugely appreciated and gratefully accepted. It goes to help, goes towards helping me bring new content to the channel as someone who is out of work and unable to monetize my content on YouTube. It does make it very difficult when new games come out for me to be able to jump on them when they first come out. So thank you very, very much, guys, for all the money that you've sent so far. And, I'm now in a position where I can start to make plans for the future. Has everyone heard the news about Bullet Bill? Asks Martin. Yes, this story actually broke literally as I was prepping for my live stream Sunday night. It broke about 10 minutes before I started my live stream. Bullet Bill's computer had a massive system failure. His motherboard essentially just blew itself up, and so that was it. That was game over, as everybody thought. And a post was made on Bill's behalf on his Facebook page by other members of the Frontier team, and within hours, the donations started flooding in on his Facebook page via PayPal, and he's already in the space of 24 to 48 hours raised a significant amount of money towards buying a brand new system, and it'll be I'm imagining more money still trickling in, but already he's got enough to buy a very good system. And every bit more that he's getting is just meaning he can get a better system. So it's great to see that it looks as though Bill will actually be able to carry on with modding, because it did look for a little while like it might be a very long time for someone else who also is financially limited to be able to continue doing what he wanted to do. And the generosity and support of the farming simulator community has kind of rallied round, and it looks as though he'll be back up and running very, very quickly. So that's great news to hear. Ooh, I'm going way too fast. Way too fast. Not paying any attention. I glanced at the comments for a second and we're going to completely overshoot the entire station here. Oh, this is bad. Whoops. We're going to have to reverse on this one. I think we've overshot the entire station completely. Let's just have a quick look how bad this is. Yeah, not even at the back there. That's not good at all. Okay, so I need to put the reverser into reverse. I need to release the emergency brake. I need to apply some throttle. And have I stalled the train because I've put it into emergency? I hope not. Master switch arm reverses in neutral. Let's kill the throttle. Brake is definitely released. I think I might have to hit another button because I hit the emergency brake. Handbrake release. Right. There we go. Got some power. We're moving backwards. So we've made a real hash of this one already. Simply because we're going the wrong direction. And now I've got a red signal as well, which means I might not even be able to make the station before we run out of space here. Oh no, that's a few hundred yards back. The objective is only 80 yards. We're okay. We'll make it. But not very good here. Not a good start. Oh, I hit the emergency brake again, my mistake. Right. Let's do the doors. I need to sort the brakes and everything out. That's released. Throttle's at 0. Make sure the emergency brake is released. Aaron standing on the platform waiting for this train here. Getting cold and wet. You can get on now, doors are open. And now we can close the doors. We've got some space to make up already. I've done it again, I've applied the throttle too soon. Gotta let the doors go through their closing sequence. Now we can apply the throttle. And now we can start moving. You can see... Oh, we're going backwards still. We're still going backwards. I forgot to change the reverser direction. Oh, we are making a mess of today. Right, release the brakes. Let's change the reverser direction. Dear, dear, oh dear. Now we're off. Right, Johnny has set up a Facebook page, or a Facebook group for console players here on Train Sim World. I'm just going to find the link and I'll share it into the chat for you guys. Oh, scenario failed. We went through a red signal, I think. I looked away to try and find a link, and we failed as a result. So let's try that again. At least this time we won't overshoot the station and leave Aaron getting very, very wet. Okay, so there's the address for the Facebook group that Johnny set up, which is for console players of Train Sim World. Do feel free to drop by and check that out when you get the chance. And we're going to get up and running here again as quickly as we can. Hopefully this time we'll actually not make a complete pig's ear of it, as we often tend to do. It's becoming a theme that we make a mess of things. Let's get the doors open. Change the reverser to forward. I'm going to change my lights again, just because I really liked that look of reading lights. Let's go with the dimmed beam lights again. Got to wait for the passengers to load up, and we've got to wait till 10:45, I think it was, before we can pull away. So it gives me a minute or two for us to check through the comments. People asking about Jurassic World and if I'm going to be able to start playing that. I am looking into it now. Now that I have a little bit of money to spend, I am looking into it. It's still full price digitally. I'm looking at maybe getting a copy off Amazon instead, so it's a little bit cheaper. We'll see. But I am hoping to jump onto that game pretty soon. Aaron complaining he has to go back into the rain. Well, what can I say? At least there's a canopy at the platform. Let's get the wipers switched on. And we'll increase to setting 2 because it's a little bit heavy at the moment. Cursor positioned and ready. I would say enjoy, you know, the typical terrible rail food that you get in the cafes and stuff at stations here in the UK. But of course, we're in Germany, so for all we know, it could be very, very nice and at least edible, which is, you know, something that can't necessarily be said for rail services here in the UK. Okay, we're getting close, just 10 seconds or so to go until we can pull away. So let's close the doors. And now we can pull away as soon as we hit the right time, which is now. There we go. Off we go. Aaron and Martin, because Martin apparently is waiting at the station further up ahead. Don't worry, we are now up and running on the way. Oh, I missed something. What did I miss? Lock the doors. I did lock the doors. Just tell me my doors aren't open. No, see, look, the doors are closed. Very odd. Very odd indeed. We go over the points. In the UK, we'd have to cancel the services. There's rain on the track. Oh, well, we're not that bad here in the UK, Adrian. Well, we're not far off. It's an old running joke that's been going along since 70s and 80s. As an old British rail excuse, you know, services had to be cancelled because there were leaves on the line. Mr. Farmer asking to drive a CSX train. We actually did that last time out, so we're going to be looking at the German service today. But once we've had a couple of scenarios here in Germany, then it's fair game to see what else we could do. We might go back to America, we might go back to the UK, we'll see. But we are going to do some snow driving on a service a little bit later. Over some express points there, which is why we're able to go over them at speed. Let's crack the throttle up to max. How far away are we? Oh, I've just realised we've got no objective showing because the doors are technically still not locked. So I'm going to have to stop the train to lock the doors to get the objective marker to move to the next station so I can see how far away we are. This is awkward. There we go. Right. That was a bit of a pain, but we're done. So let's go back to our external view. Looking to get a steering wheel for Farming Simulator, do I have any recommendations? Yeah, don't buy a steering wheel just for Farming Simulator. If you're going to buy a wheel because you want it for more than just Farming Simulator, or else it's going to be a waste of money. Have a wheel in mind that's going to be something you can use if you want to do some racing games or spin tyres, or other games that are going to involve a wheel, especially with Truck Driver coming out later this year. Don't buy a wheel purely for Farming Simulator on consoles, because there's a lot of wheels out there that are kind of supported by Farming Simulator, but a lot of the other games out there, like the racing games and things like spin tyres, they have a much smaller wheel support list. So don't buy just any old wheel just for that game, because you then won't be able to use it if you want to use it for something like Gran Turismo or spin tyres, or maybe Truck Driver when that comes out. I can't imagine that's going to have massive list of supported wheels when that first comes out. Maybe after a while once it gets patched, but not at first. I'd be very surprised if it supported everything. So I have a GS29, or sorry, not a GS29, a G29, but I don't use it that much for Farming Simulator, because you still need a D-pad or a joypad to be able to look through the windows and turn your point of view. There's no motion control, so you can't look left and right like this with a wheel. You still need a joypad to be able to do that. You still need the analog sticks. Yeah, but I still play a little bit of Gran Turismo in my spare time, and I also play some spin tyres with the wheel. So I have other games that I can use the wheel for. I don't depend purely just on one particular game for what is potentially a very expensive peripheral. I'm pressing the wrong brakes here. We're stopping way too soon. Just because I'm trying to drive in cab. Sorry, externally and not in cab. Let me go internally and see if I've messed something up. You see, this is what we do. We make mistakes on this game. I'm getting no power at all. I've hit the emergency brake. That's why I need to release it. There we go. What do I think of Construction Simulator coming in the fall? I don't know enough about it to have an opinion on it yet. So I will look into it a bit more, after the stream, see if I can find some information on it, and maybe make a preliminary judgment. But I don't really know that much about it, really, at this stage, so it's not really something I want to say I'm looking forward to. And it also depends who's publishing as well. If it's by UIG, then I'm probably going to give it a miss, because it's probably going to be terrible. Alright, so we've arrived at the first station. Let's get the doors open. We are a little bit behind schedule. Got another train coming in on the opposite line, as you can see. Passengers loading up quite quickly this time. Doors are locked. Let's wait for the train to close those doors, and now we can start applying some power. Moving on to the next station. We need to be there at 10:55. We are 4 miles out, so we're going to need to basically floor it. For those of you just joining the stream, yes, we are Looking at the German content today, we're looking at the S-Bahn in Leipzig. Aaron's excited he's finally on board without realising this is actually the first station that we were fine at last time round. It was the second station where we caused a problem and we missed him. So unless you've walked down to the first station, then we're still on the way to you. Really cranking the speed up. Like I say, we've got time to make up here because of that. More problems trying to get used to the different brakes. When you've got brakes on both controls, it's a little bit weird sometimes. You've got an indirect brake on one on your throttle control and then a proper brake on the other control as well. You can sometimes get mixed up as to which one you're applying and forget which one to take off. Oh, just got a trophy. Top talent. Not quite sure I'm deserving of top talent. Given the mistakes that we made on our first run and already on our second run as well. Top talent maybe seems a little generous there, but I have just gained the top talent trophy. What do you mean all my messing about there? 2 miles away and we need to be there in 30 seconds. These trains are quick, but they're not that quick. Uh, 10 seconds to go. Well, we've done 0.6 of a mile, 0.7 of a mile in the space of 20 seconds or so. So, yeah, maybe. We are doing 103 miles an hour, so we are able to move pretty quick. Inside a mile, we might possibly hit the platform just at the end of 10:55 here. I need to start braking. I think we're going to do it, you know. I think we're going to make the 10:55. Just ease the brake off a little bit. Go to 80% on the brake. And ease it off a bit more. And this is where we went so horribly wrong last time and completely overshot the station. Oh, look at that. We are just a few seconds outside of our target window. I think we made up a lot of time there. We actually did quite well to do that. Let's get the doors open. Reset the throttle. I just hit the emergency brake by mistake, so I'll make sure that that's released. Passengers loading up. Someone's saying that there's also a fishing sim world coming. Well, there's already a couple of different fishing simulators available. There's Eurofishing, I think it's called, which has been out. I think that's Dovetail. I'm not sure. That's been out a little while, Eurofishing. I forget who released that. And there's another one as well, which is kind of a fishing free-to-play game as well, which I did have a look at, but we decided against playing that on a regular basis. So there are already a couple of big fishing games out there. One is like a paid game, Eurofishing. The other one, I forget the exact name of it, is in the free-to-play section. So it's a game where, like Star Trek Online or another game of that type, where it's free to actually play the game, but a lot of things are locked away behind paywalls. Are the controls hard in the game? In this game, they once you get used to them, they're not too tricky. Trouble is getting used to them. They can be a little difficult at times in trying to remember which one's which, and sometimes you can get your controls mixed up in your head. So if you're doing everything sort of by hand and looking around and using your cursor to move the controls, then it's slower, but you can use them that way. If you're trying to use just like the shortcuts on your DualShock, then it's quicker, but you end up sometimes mixing your controls up a little bit. I think it's good to have a basic understanding of where the controls are within the cab, so if you can't remember something or you forget something, you know, at least you can find it on the cab quite quickly instead of spending ages hunting around for something. But by the same token, it's also good to know some of the basic shortcuts on your D-pad as well. Adrian, if you got on the wrong train, you go in the wrong direction. Maybe we'll catch you up on another service. Let's ease the throttle down. Let's go with a 30% throttle. Actually, let's go with a bit more than that. Let's go 44%. A few people asking for my PS4 name. I don't give my PS4 name out because I don't generally tend to add people. I get a lot of people asking, you know, to join in with my games that I play solo, so it just solves the issue of not, you know, constantly having to say no to people by just not giving out my PSN. Oh, we're going to overshoot our stopping point, but we should still make the station itself. Maybe. No, we're going to overshoot just a little bit again. Ah, damn it. Alright. Slap the reverser. Hit the emergency brake again. Let's quickly reverse back a little bit. Indirect brake is released. There we go. Just roll back just a touch. There we go. I can see the platform now. That's good enough for me. Let's get the doors open. Reset my brake and throttle. Passengers loading. Martin's happy he's finally been able to get on board a train. Locking the doors and we are off. Oop, I throttled too soon again. There we go. So we are going the wrong way. We are going the wrong way. Made that mistake last time. Caught it in time this time. We are 3 miles from our next stop, 11:03, and it's already 11:01:50. So yeah, we're going to be late on that one as well. If we wait at the station for 5 minutes more, we can get the bus sim. Cheeky. Who knows? Maybe that's going to be a future DLC for this game, replacement bus simulator. Or replacement bus service simulator. Train is not running. You have to catch a coach that's going to take 3 hours longer to get to your destination than you want it to. Alright, we've got a bit of space, so I'm going to go back to the external camera. have another look around in our surroundings. See if we can see any interesting landmarks. Oh, we've got a nice little wind farm over there, look. Doesn't appear to be moving though. Someone must have forgotten to take the brakes off the fans. And we're out into the countryside now by the look of it. There's no built-up area around us on either side. And we're a mile away, so let's start slowing down a little bit. Okay, back into internals. But actually, I'm going to try and do this station externally, I think. Try and position a little bit better. What's our time? 11:04 and a half, so we're going to be 2 minutes behind on this one by the time we get in there and get stopped. Are there other trains ahead of me on the line? Well, no, we're running behind schedule, so no. If we were running ahead of schedule, then maybe we might get some caution signals or maybe even a red to tell us to stop or slow down. But we are fine at the moment. Oh, how's that for judgment? Oh, we should do it like this more often. We actually managed to stop in the right places. There's our doors opening. Anyone getting in and out? One person got out. Anyone getting in? There's a guy thinking about it. Go on, get on, get on. You know you want to. Can I push him on the train? Nope. Nobody's getting on. Probably they've seen me driving or heard about my driving and have decided it's safer just to stand there and wait for the next one. Oops. Right, locking doors. We are 3 miles away from our next stop. Oh, I just hit the emergency brake. Is that going to... Yeah, the emergency brake's been hit. Damn it. I'm going to have to jump in and release it. Reverse... emergency brake, there we go. Right. Come on, give me some power. Right, we're off and running again. What's the top speed on this train? 100 miles an hour is the top speed on this train. .1 miles to go till we hit a speed restriction of 99 miles an hour. I think we can live with that. 2.6 miles to go until we reach our destination. This thing accelerates really quickly. Someone expecting a huge crash. I was going to say I haven't crashed yet. I actually did crash at the end of the last stream. I crashed my Class 43 into the buffers at London Paddington. Right, time to start coasting, and then we'll throttle back. Oh, actually, we better start throttling back now. And we've got a 75-mile-an-hour speed restriction coming up in 700 yards. There we go. We're at the right speed for that. You can see we're rejoining some more lines to the side of us, or a line by the look of it. It splits again. How far out are we now? Just a few hundred yards. Yeah, time to start slowing down again. We're coming in on the left platform this time by the look of it. I'm going way too fast. I need to hit more of the brake. There we go. Beautiful. So we'll do the doors. Left-hand side this time. Release the brake. How much is this game? Well, price is subjective depending on which market you're in. So I don't know what the euro price is or what the US price is, but here in the UK, this game is $39.99. And if you want to get the Digital Deluxe Edition, which applies a third American loco, which is a different CSX loco, then it's an extra $44.99. That loco is not available separately yet that I know of. The doors are closing. Doors are closed, I think. Time for us to hit Leipzig North. And we are supposed to be there in less than 20 seconds. So yeah, we're definitely not exactly what you call an efficient rail service at the moment. This is all a knock-on effect from the mistake we made approaching the first station, where we stopped short, and with the doors, we didn't lock the doors properly, so we had to stop to pop the objective marker. Even though the doors were closed, they weren't locked. And you can't lock them once the train is in motion. You have to sort of come to a stop, which is a bit frustrating. Just dip down under the bridge. So let's see, 75-mile-an-hour speed restriction coming up, so let's coast. .3 miles from Leipzig North. What happens when you derail the train? You fail instantly. The train is thrown off the tracks, and that's it. You know, end of run. You have to start again. Start slowing down a little bit. I have to say I'm very impressed with just how pretty this game looks. I mean, I know it can get a bit blurry when the cameras are in motion like this, but it still looks very, very good. Very, very pretty. I do like this. And it's encouraging, I think, for the future. You see my pantograph just raising and lowering itself a moment there. Is this our final stop? Overshot ever so slightly. But we can live with that. Doors are open. Get ready to lock the doors again. People asking what's going on with the mods on Farming Sim 17 and when are we getting the updates. If you mean the updates for the maps, whenever they pass testing, I have no idea. They'll take as long as they take. Oh, damn it, I just hit the emergency brake again, didn't I? Damn it. There we go. I know we had a manure sale point go live today. I don't tend to do mod release videos simply because a lot of them don't really need any real explanation. I mean, they're pretty straightforward. This is a new building that we've got. Fantastic. Do you need instructions on how to actually place it on the ground? Show with a video. Some of the more complicated ones, I think about doing them, but generally I don't tend to do mod videos, just because if I started doing mod videos for some and not for others, people would expect videos for all of the mods. Certain mod creators might get unhappy that their mods aren't being shown when other people's are. So I tend to just do them every now and again when a mod I think is special comes along, or adds something that is a lot of people might not initially realise. I don't want to become just a guy who does nothing but mod videos, which is the risk you run when you start doing lots and lots of mod videos. It kind of pushes all your other content way down the news feeds. Map tours are one thing, but I say mods themselves are something else completely. Ooh, let's go inside on this one. Let's change our lights as well. High beam, there we go. Let's go a bit brighter. We are now underground on a metro system. Excellent stuff. I wonder if we've got another stop or if this is it for us. Jim. Aaron's still complaining about being left to the station. You got on the train, stop your whinging. Oh, we still have another stop, look, Leipzig Market. Wonder if this is going to be another underground stop. have they got more routes now in the game? More than since when? I mean, this game has only been out a week for console users. I mean, I know it's been out in stages on PC, but it's just been released as the full package to match, the content being released on consoles. So it depends on which version you're talking about. Are you talking about the PC version? In which case I can't really answer that. I know that there is additional content coming. No, we're going to miss a stop. We're going to miss the stop. We're going to miss the stop. Damn it. That came up a lot quicker than I was expecting. Ah, they can walk. They can walk from there. Just how far did I overshoot? Let's have a look at the rear camera. Oh no, look, see, half the trains can still get out. Look, that's okay. That's okay. They can still just walk down a carriage and get off. That's fine. We're okay with that. Oh, just messed with my reverser by mistake. Doors closed. Release the brakes. Release the emergency because I hit it again. Let's get some throttle going. Train doesn't want to start. Come on, train. There we go. Welcome to Gym Rails, where you have to walk extra to board the train if it stops for you. Cheeky, cheeky, cheeky. I am taking such abuse in the comments tonight. Can you do a route to Manchester, or is it only to London? It's only sort of the Reading to Paddington service is the main line, and then it's different parts of that line that you can run with a slight bit that goes off. But yeah, you can't go past Reading at the moment. I know that PC guys are getting a West Somerset package very soon, if they haven't got it already, that is. And I know that there is another German service being added very soon for PC. I think it'll be a little while before we get those on consoles, but I have no doubt that we will get those at some point in the future as well. I'm looking forward to the West Somerset pack because that's bringing in the Class 47, which is a great little loco. I do love the Class 47. Ah, there we go. Almost professional there. Stopped about right. Doors open straight away. If only the other stops could have been as smooth and efficient as that one. Just a few more seconds and we can close the doors and move on to the next stop. Release the brake. Lock the doors. Again, less than half, well, about half a mile away to the next stop. %50 power, bang on the nose. Am I a train spotter? No, but I am a fan of model railways. I've had model railways as a kid. I tried to get back into model railways about 10 years ago, and then had some health and financial issues that forced me to sell everything that I had. I was getting into N-gauge, but I was looking at modelling a little stretch of railway that I used to grow up near, and sort of set it around the sort of 80s kind of service. So some 70s locos would still have been running. It was all British Rail stuff. And I had, a a few different locos on my sort of roster. So I had a Class 37, well, a couple of Class 37s, a Class 47, obviously the Class 43, because that's a cracking, iconic train, the HST. Actually, still holds the record for being the world's fastest diesel. Believe it or not, a train that is over 40 years old. Let's get those doors open. Getting much rain in the tunnel. Good point. Yeah, I need to turn the wipers off. Let's see. Is it Shift V? Yeah, Shift V. There we go. Wipers are off. Thank you for pointing out that I hadn't turned off my wipers. You watch, the next stop is actually outside. I'm going to need the wipers again. I'll bet you any money. Did I close the doors? I don't think I did. No, I didn't. There we go. Why are we not moving? Definitely make sure that they're closed now, because I think I might have just opened them again. Yes, there we go. We're off and running. We are already 2.5 minutes behind our arrival time at the next station. So, yeah, this has not been the most efficient of rail services, and it does look as though we are. It's hard to tell, but it does look as though we are going back outside. So I'm going to have to turn the wipers back on again now that I've just turned them off for you guys. If I could create any game for consoles, what would it be? When you say create any game, do you mean if I could just design my own game, or if I could take any existing game not on consoles and bring it across? Alright, take it easy there, Aaron. Design one. I have absolutely no idea. I have autism, so I'm not a particularly creative person when it comes to just the design. Designing something like that, I wouldn't even know what to begin, where to begin, what to do. So, not really a question I could particularly answer. I'm turning my wipers back on. There we go. But in terms of bringing any game from PC over to console, I suppose Euro Truck Simulator 2, assuming that it would work and run very smoothly and still have, a large amount of content, that would be the game I would bring over, would be Euro Truck Simulator. The game, and since then I've been driving the Great Western stuff a lot, so haven't driven this properly, so I've not messed around, but I do know that you can change the screen layouts, because you can do that with the Amtrak as well, I think, as well. And I can see the actual throttle going up and down on the left hand screen. You can see the blue bar raising and increasing, raising and lowering as I apply and decrease the throttle. Now we have a yellow signal up ahead. Why do we have a yellow signal? We're behind schedule. What could possibly be in the way? Oh, this is a very scenic, pretty area. Let's slow the train down. I want to have a quick look at this on the externals if I can. Still got a yellow signal. It starts slowing down. I need to change my lights as well. We're still on high beam. Let's go dimmed beam. There we go. Coming up to the station. This, I think, is going to be our final stop, if memory serves me correctly. Start scrubbing that speed right down. There we go. Get the doors open. I got someone getting on. I thought that was it. I thought that was our final stop. I've still got a red signal, so I think this is just, you know, people getting on the train, and we're going to get off as soon as, you know, I close the doors again. So I'm going to jump back into the driver's seat, get ready to close the doors, and then get ready to leave the train. Climb down, there we go. So yeah, that's it, we're done. So the doors are locked. I should still be able to get out though. I can. Oh, I've got to climb down, haven't I, using the... there we go. Change my controller. And then run like crazy to get away from the train and the angry passengers for being late. Objective complete. So there you go. We see we missed every... Oh no, we got one. We got one on time. We were the third stop down. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Or maybe I will. Shortau. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. We actually arrived on time. And we were late at every other stop. By, I think, at least 2 minutes. Well, 1 minute on the first two. And then every other stop after that we were 2 minutes behind. So that third stop was the killer. We made a mistake somewhere around there, and we were late 2 minutes for every other stop there, and then 4 minutes late at the very end. Okay, so let's have a look at the other scenarios. I should have gone to main menu. What's better, to get the deluxe game or the original one? Well, the only difference between the two is the deluxe version of this game gives you an extra loco, which I don't think is available individually at this stage, but I imagine it will be in the near future, and I would imagine that it will cost about the same as the current price difference between the two versions. So... depends how eager you are to get an extra American locomotive. I think it's just a different version of the CSX, or maybe even just a different skin on the CSX loco. Alright, so welcome to Bitterfeld Station. From here we'll be running all stations stopping service north as far as Dessauhof. At least we've got better weather this time, so... Let's blame the rain for the mistakes we made last time out. I feel comfortable doing that. Set my reverser. Loading passengers. Throttle's set at the right thing. Brake is set right. It's a bit dark, isn't it? A bit overcast. We've got blue clouds. Or is that just the blue sky? Gaps in the blue sky, I wonder. Let's have a quick look at the free cam. Ah, yeah, it's just gaps in the clouds, making it look like blue clouds. It's actually not. We are currently hiding underneath the canopy, which is why you can't see us. I think. Where is my train, actually? Oh, there it is. There's the train. So, let's get the doors ready to be locked. Got a minute and a bit to wait until we can pull off. People mocking my train driving skills again. It's definitely something that takes a little bit of practice, this, when you're trying to mess around with different cameras and different controls. Right, 10 seconds to go. Let's lock those doors down.
Vorsicht bei der Einfahrt.
I just have locked the train doors. And now I've unlocked them, now it's giving me the direction. Oh, hang on, am I facing the wrong direction? I'm going to go back to the internal. I think I might be... Oh, no, I'm on the right line. Okay, that's weird. Let's make sure that the doors are definitely closed and locked. So we lost 30 seconds already, look. Luckily, we're only 1.7 miles from our next stop, and we're not due there till 17:19. So as long as the speed limit's not too low, we can make that time up. So we have a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. Let's ease the throttle back a little bit. Oh, speed limit's increased. Bit more colour this time, now that we don't have lots and lots of grey, horrible grey sky with rain everywhere. Actually see a bit more vibrancy in the map, or the location. Oh wow, we are going way too fast. That speed change came up on us very, very quickly. And it's changed us because we switched tracks, that's why. I was not expecting us to switch tracks there. Time to really start to slow down. I want to try and nail as many of these stopping points as I can this time out. Yeah, look at that. That's better. Unlock the doors on the right-hand side. No, I don't think I've ever seen two roads with just a rail line separating them like that before. See a few people getting off and going into the sort of pedestrian subway there. Looks like they're getting onto the other platform. Wait until 19:30, so we've got half a minute. What's aggravation all about? Someone was asking me on Twitter if aggravation is seasons ready. I said I think it is. I wasn't 100% certain, and I'm still not, but I believe it's fully seasons ready. I did have a look at the most recent update for that map, and it didn't say anything about seasons, but it had overwritten all the previous patches, so I'm not 100% certain, but I do think it is seasons ready. Alright, off we go. I'm going to try and keep an eye on the speed limits. 87 mile an hour speed limit coming up in just over half a mile. We are 1.2 miles out from our next stop. And no sooner do we kind of accelerate up to a high speed that we have to slow it down again, ready for the next station. Ah, look at that. Beautiful. Doors opening. I'm almost a professional train driver this time out. Almost. What stop is this, second or third? Well, I suppose it depends on whether you count the first stop as the one we started from. Once again, we've made it ahead of schedule. Look, we've got to wait till 17:23 and 30 seconds, so we're a minute away from leaving. Your confidence in me is overwhelming there. Thank you, Aaron. Just for that, I'm not going to let you on the train. I'm going to have the guards throw you off as soon as you get on. 15 seconds. Let's get those doors closed. Release the brake. Nice little tannoy announcement in German. And away we go. Off to Yetznitz. Let's just move the camera a little bit. It's getting headbutted by all those poles. Cranking up to max power. We don't need to go this fast. We've got plenty of time. But we're going to go fast anyway because we like to go fast. So here we are approaching station number 4, where we'll be letting everybody except Aaron on the train. Looks like there's a train already in the station. Oops. There we go. I do like the little animations. You can see the little foot ramps coming out as the doors are about to open. That's cool. Never noticed that before. I wonder if we are still comfortably ahead of schedule, whether we'll have to wait at this station before we can set off again. Find out in just a second. Yep, wait until 17:26 and 30 seconds, which is now, effectively. Let's close the doors down. Brake released. Doors closed. Away we go. 17:30 is our next stop. And we have a little over 3 minutes to do just under 2 miles. We should be fine. Should be. No promises. You've all seen my driving being a little bit inconsistent over the last few streams. Watching that speed limit. Be able to crank up to... That's a nice little level crossing there. Be able to crank up to 75 in a minute. There we go. This is a much more professional service that we're running this time out. We've made every stop. We stopped in the right spot, or there or thereabouts every time. We haven't been late. Of course, I do realise this is the commentator's curse of doom. This is like Murray Walker back in the days on Formula One. He would praise someone's driving, say he's going to win, and then he would break down within the next couple of laps. Or run out of fuel, or something would happen. Good old Murray. I do miss Murray Walker on commentary. And all those Murrayisms. Let's see if we can nail this stop as well. I have to say, stopping distances are easier to judge when you're driving externally, but the train itself is a little harder to drive. And we overshot ever so slightly on that one. That's not too bad. We can get away with that still. There's those little foot ramps coming out again. Oops, I just changed the reverser direction. Let's put that back in forward. There we go. Do we need to wait? Yes, we do. 17, 30 and 30 seconds. So another 20 seconds or so and then we can leave. All aboard, and off we go. What hobbies do I have? Not many, not anymore. I used to have quite a lot of hobbies when I was younger, but now I don't really have any hobbies. You know, I kind of follow, you know, a few different sports. You know, I'm a big Liverpool fan, very excited about our upcoming season. Big Formula One fan. I'm loving this season. It's been a great competition between Hal, but that's about it really. I don't tend to do. I'm getting old. Plus, it's hard to have quite a lot of hobbies these days when you don't have any money as well. No, I'm not a member of Team Hamilton. I'm not a member of any team something. I hate that kind of phrase. You know, to the best of my knowledge, that all started with what was that horrible movie franchise? Twilight, was it? You know, you had Team Edward and Team Jacob, was it? Team Vampire and Team Werewolf, basically. Just utter stupidity. It was all anyone in the offices would ever talk about at work, and it used to drive me insane. About how great these movies were, and so I sat and I actually borrowed a copy of the movies and I watched them, and they were awful, terrible movies. They was just so bland. The acting was so bad. The story was just so dull. There was nothing there at all. A couple of the movies just felt like they were filler, just waiting for, you know, something to just keep, you know, people ticking over until the next movie came out. There wasn't like any real purpose to the story of that particular movie at all. It was horrible franchise, and that to me is where the team thing started. And there is just some things that I just don't like in terms of, you know, phrases or, you know, expressions like team whatever, or, you know, keep calm and carry on, and those things just drive me nuts because they're so overused. I do support Hamilton because he's a British driver and I'm a British citizen, so yeah, I'm always going to support him over as a German. Plus, I'm not a big fan of Vettel anyway. I've never rated Vettel as a driver. I think he's received a lot more praise than he's actually worth, because I think the reason he won 4 championships in a row was because he had a car that was head and shoulders above anything else in the competition. Nothing to do with his amazing driving skills. Whereas Hamilton was able to still pull out, race wins with a car that was certainly nowhere near as competitive as that of his competition. You look at Alonso again as another example of a driver who's actually a really incredibly talented driver, was able to take Ferrari to the verge of 2 world championships during his 4 or 5 year spell there in a car that was horrendously uncompetitive. And that Ferrari had no right to be challenging for either the drivers or constructors championships, and yet he dragged it all the way up there and took it to the final race of the season for 2 years out of the 4 or 5 that he drove there. That to me is the mark of a true driver. You look at Vettel when he's had a non-competitive car, he's nothing special. I remember when Ricciardo was his teammate, and Ricciardo made him look average. Ricciardo beat him at, hands down across that one season the two of them were together. I think I've just, unlocked the doors again, haven't I? So I've never rated him as a driver. I always thought that there have been much better drivers out there, and that he's just been successful because he's been beneficial of having a great car. And yet you look at other drivers of the era, that have been around for the same time as him, and they've won races and been competitive when their car hasn't been. And that to me is the mark of a true driver. I would love to see Ricciardo in a competitive car next year. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love to see him in a properly competitive car next year, because I think, he's a world champion elect. He just needs a car behind him. He's such a great driver. He's proved that time and time again. And I know all the talk at Red Bull is about Verstappen, and he is an incredible young driver, but he's a young driver and his time will come. Ricciardo's time is starting to run out. He's pushing towards 30 now, and most racing drivers tend to stop in their early to mid-30s, so he's not got many years left. And I just hate to see him not have the opportunity to be really challenging for race wins every single weekend. Cars need to go back to the old school. To a degree, I'll agree with that a little bit. I mean, they need to be made a little less complicated. But Formula 1 has always been about, the cutting edge. So you can't take that element out. But you do need to do something to increase the spectacle. Make it easier for guys to follow each other. The cars are so complicated at the moment that it's almost impossible to follow in the dirty air of another car. Which is why you see so little overtaking in the last 10 years or so. I'm hoping that the regulation changes that they're bringing in for next season will aim to improve overtaking and make it easier for cars to follow. That's the aim of those regulations, but we see regulation changes a lot every few years with that aim in mind, and it's never really happened. Maybe this time they'll get it right. Entenbug asks, is this a good game? Well, I like it. I've been having a lot of fun with this game. Been enjoying it. I suppose, trying to say if a game is good is completely subjective as to whether or not it's a game that you enjoy. What one person can absolutely think is a great game can be a terrible game to another person. It's a little subjective, but, if you like simulations, if you like this type of game, then yes, I think it's a very good game. If you're not a fan of this type of simulation, then you probably wouldn't enjoy it. If you're just, seeing this as your first kind of simulator purchase, it might not be the one for you. Start easing the throttle off just a little bit as we come up to our last but one stop, I think. I think we've got one more stop after this. This is Dessau Sud, which is south, and we're going to the north. Just going to move the camera slightly because we've got the overhead lines whizzing through the shot all the time. There we go. Start scrubbing a bit more speed off. Ease the brakes down a little bit. We need to arrive at 17:39. It is 17:39, so we are bang on schedule. Doors open. Let's run the camera on this side for a bit. Jesse asks, how's the game going? It's going well. Like I said, I've been having a lot of fun with this game so far. I've been really enjoying my time with it. And I am, eagerly looking forward to when we start getting some additional services added in here so that we get more choice to play around with. Locking the doors, and we are off and running. Oh, damn, I just hit the emergency brake. Let's jump in the camera, in cab. Release the emergency. There we go. Now we lost a little bit of time there as a result of that. We've got 2.6 miles to go, so we'll be alright, despite that little time loss. What advice would I give to someone who is thinking of becoming a YouTuber? Decide what you want your main focus of your channel to be. For me, that's Farming Simulator. Decide whether or not you want your channel to be exclusive to just one game, or whether you want to try and bring a variety of different games to the channel. Decide how you want your style to be when it comes to actually putting your videos together, and above all, be prepared to put in a lot of hard work. Be prepared for a lot of struggling at the start, with very little sort of feedback or reward, and be prepared to be very patient. That's about the best advice I can give to anybody, really. What was the last movie I watched, and am I any kind of Marvel fan? The last movie I watched, I'm trying to remember. I am a fan of the Marvel Universe, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I do like the Marvel movies. The last movie I watched, I've burnt through quite a few recently because I've had a month's free Amazon Prime trial, because I ordered a new USB stick and took a 3-month trial. So I've been burning through a lot of content on Amazon just to use up that 3 month, which has only got a couple of days left before it stops. So I've already cancelled, so I don't have to start paying for it. But, you know, I watched the Riddick movies again because I haven't seen those in a while. I also watched Batman vs Superman, and my God, that film was terrible. Absolutely awful. I'm not someone who is pro Marvel and against DC. You know, I like Superman as a character. I like Batman. Love the Batman movies that Christopher Nolan did. I don't think it has to be. You can only be a fan of DC or Marvel. I don't think there has to be that distinction. You can be a fan of both. But the DC movies, you know, haven't been as good in general. And as I said, Batman versus Superman was just awful. Oh, that's it. We're done. We have completed this service, and we did it really well. We were on time for all of our stops. We stopped in the right place for most of them, I think. Let's get our rating. Look at that, green ticks all the way down the board. Love it. And we were on schedule, or slightly ahead of schedule, for all of our stops there. You know, due 1719, arrived a minute early. At Wolfen, Bitterfeld, we were 2 minutes early. A minute early at Jesnitz. A minute early at Ragun. Marker, we were a minute early. On time at Dessau Sud and Dessau HBF, we were on time. So we actually put together a very professional service that time. That's the smoothest run I've ever had. I'm very proud of that. Right, so we've had a couple of German service looks. Let's go off script a little bit and let's try out some snow on a service. And I'm going to go to the 166 because I enjoy driving the 166. So we need to select Great Western. What I also need to do actually is I need to change my livery. The Class 66, as you can see, is a little paintbrush icon in the top left corner of the engine. There are two different loco liveries. There's the DB Schenker livery, which is that, and there is also the EWS Class 66 logo there as well. So you have a choice of liveries on that particular engine. It's the only one I think that does have a choice. Obviously these two are going to be in Great Western livery because they are Great Western trains, because it's a Great Western service. But in the future, if we get another service added in, then it's entirely possible that we might possibly see those trains with other skins option, available to them as well. Because I don't know about the 43, if that runs on other lines apart from Great Western, but the 166 certainly does. So let's go into services. We're going to take the 166. We are going to go. Do you want to go with just snow? Or do you want to go with blizzard? Let me know in the comments. One vote so far, purely for blizzard, which to be fair, I expected. Blizzard is so hard. Yes, blizzard is not easy to see at all. So those are your two choices there, snow or blizzard. Yeah, everyone's saying blizzard, so let's just go with blizzard then. Now I need to pick a service. Let's go Oxford to Reading, I think. Middle of the day. Or do we go at night when it's a bit darker? It's going to be even harder to see. Let's see what services we've got in the evening. Worcester. Let's go the other way. Let's go from Paddington to Oxford. Let's do this one. This is going to be a real challenge. I am going to make mistakes on this, I can guarantee you that. I hope they add more DLC. They will do, it's just a question of when we get it and how much it's going to cost. But the game is getting more content on PC. It's going to get it on consoles as well. It's just, as I say, a question of when we get it and how much it's going to cost per pack. Objective complete. That was good. We completed our objective before we did anything at all. Right, we need to get underway. Let's see. It's been a while since I've been in this train, actually. Wipers. Let's turn the wipers on so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to go max because it's going to be blizzard when we get out the station. Let's turn the master key on. Put reverser in forwards. Brake into full service. I don't think this train's even actually running at the moment. Oh no, engine is running. Okay, let's get some lights on. I'm going to want night lights. I forget, where's my cab light? Windscreen demister, yeah, we'll turn that on. Cab light on, there we go. Let's try and do this externally if we can. This could be interesting. Actually, no, I want to be on the right side, don't I? There we go. Drop it down a little bit more. I need to go back into the cab because we've got no internal lights on. Internal lights are up here somewhere, I think. Train lighting. Oh no, train is on. Train lighting is switched on, I think. Oh no, it's not. There we go. Let's turn the train lighting on. That's better. Now we can see. We've got some lights in there. You can just see it through the snow on the windows. This game apparently looks good on the PS4 compared to the Xbox One. Well, I don't know about a regular PS4. I mean, I'm assuming you're just on a standard Xbox One. This is actually a PS4 Pro, so that might be why it's a little bit smoother. So I can't say for definite that that's the reason why, you know, it's running better because it's a PS4 over an Xbox, but this is a Pro, so that might be why it's running smoother on this. I don't know how it's going to perform. Excuse me. I don't know how it's going to perform on a regular PS4 against, you know, a Pro. £50-mile-an-hour speed limit coming up in a moment. You've got the Xbox One S, which is a little bit less than a Pro in terms of its, you know, power, I think, or certainly on a par. So, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, can't say why that is. Then I'd say if it was a standard Xbox, I know that that is not as powerful as a standard PS4, and that has caused issues with some games where they just run better on PS4. Call of Duty Ghosts was a huge example of that. When that came out, that was much better and smoother on the PlayStation than it was on the Xbox. But that was like right at the beginning of the console lives, and time has moved on since then. So to cross into an 85-mile-an-hour zone, just let the whole train clear. Get some extra speed up. Let's just whiz around to the front of the train. There's me, sitting there in my rather dapper uniform. Hello. How long a train are we carrying as well? Are we just the front three? Yeah, we're just a single DMU. Sometimes we run 2 DMUs coupled together. We're just running a single one on this. Move a little bit closer to the front. There we go. Get through those bridges. There's a class 43 on the other line. We've got a train. Is that coming up past us? Was that? Or was that just lighting? I think it was just lighting. You can see we're really struggling to accelerate, and this is because of the slippy rails. There is a way, I think, you can, bring out some. Well, we're getting a little bit of lag now. Someone's just saying no lag, but starting a little bit of lag with the snow there, but nothing too bad. There is a way, I think, you can use sand to improve your traction. I haven't really messed around with that, and I'm not going to on this particular attempt. Just want to see if I can make the run. It's not like real life. There would be no trains running in this weather. Yeah, no, I agree. Well, you do kind of get some trains running in the snow, but if it was, a blizzard, then yeah, services would be suspended. But I think, this is where you have to kind of suspend reality just a little bit, to give you a different, experience. And I'm all for that, So let's see, we are 1.5 miles away from our next stop, or our first stop, really. I have no idea what my stopping distances are going to be like, but I'm betting they're going to be poor. So I'm going to be slowing down a little bit earlier than I would normally, I think. We need to arrive at 20:05 at Ealing Broadway. Yeah, we'll make it. Can't see a thing when you're in the cab. It is really dark, and of course the wiper will only clear the path of the wiper itself, so we've got these blobs here of sludge and slush on the windscreen, which makes it again hard to see out the window as well. Ready to limit our view a little bit. Just rolling in now towards Ealing Broadway, just a few hundred yards away. We're on time for an 8:05 arrival. Add just a touch more throttle. And here we come, 200 yards out. I hit the brakes just a touch too early there. Let's roll us forward a little bit further. That's close enough. Right, I've got to remember where the door controls are. There. There we go, doors are open, people are getting on. Oh, there's a train going through on a different line. You can just see the lights as it whizzed through there. And it's gone. Disappeared into the blizzard. It's good how the wipers are working into you know, brushing the snow off the window. Yeah, it's a really nice feature. I like that. Actually, see it disappearing. It's the same with the wind. When it was raining earlier, you saw the rain being and the water being wiped off the windscreen. That's a really nice little touch. I do like that. When we get going again, I'm going to try and open the window actually in here. You can do that. Doors are locked. Hit the buzzer a couple of times just to let the guy know that we're off. And away we go. 5 miles to our next stop. Let's just jump out of the chair for a second. There is a way. And maybe you're going to do it in the carriages, but you can actually pull the windows down a little bit on the, at least on the Class 43 you can. I'm not sure about on this one. Let's take another look outside. Whereabouts am I from? Originally I'm from Rugby in Warwickshire. Now I'm living in Nottingham and have been for the last 17 years, 17 and a half years. Again, you can see we're at maximum throttle, but we're struggling to gain any speed because of the slippy rails. Oh, that's a great shot. I'm going to position the cursor a little bit over the light if I can. There we go. Just take a screenshot of that. Ugh. Did the bridge get in the way? Oh no! We've got pushed. That happens with the camera sometimes, is if you've got it positioned somewhere and then the scenery changes, it can push you underground and then you can't necessarily get the camera back up. That's one of the little bugs I've found with this game, is that your camera can sometimes get knocked completely underneath the tracks. Makes it almost impossible to get it back up again sometimes. And other times it will just pop back up naturally on its own. It's something you do have to be wary of. Once again, you can see our visibility is non-existent. Yeah, the lights aren't working very clearly because it's a blizzard. And we can't see out the windscreen because it's a blizzard. Let me just see with our lights. We're running night lights. What have we got? No, we want night lights. Yeah, they're the best options. We're speeding a little bit, but we're about to hit a much faster speed zone, so I'm not overly concerned about that. There we go. We're no longer speeding. That was me looking at the light switch and not realising that we've got a change in speed coming up. We've got another one in a half a mile. It's going to drop us down to 50. We'll apply a little bit of brakes now. We want to try and obey the speed laws if we can. And just coast for a little bit. We'll naturally drop down to 50 in a second, I think. There we go. And there is the signal. So we are through to a 50 zone. And now we're back to a 125 zone. And now a 50 and a 90. What is going on? Oh, it's because we're going over points. You can't see the points. That's the other thing as well. When you're driving in a blizzard like this, you can't see the points on the lines because you can't see the lines because the snow is on the windscreen. It obscures your view. We're in a 90 zone now, so well, I suppose we could accelerate, but we're so close to the station, it's not really worth it. We'll just maintain a little bit of throttle, just so we don't slow down too much too soon. Alright, now we'll start to brake. And we'll coast in at 35 for a bit. And again, we're on time, look. We're running on schedule, which is good. Start easing that speed down a bit more. Can't see anybody on the platform waiting. Mind you, who'd want to be stood out in this weather? And there we go. Beautiful. Doors are open. People are getting on. Oh, actually, I better keep the brake on because we are on a slight gradient and I don't want the train to roll. We saw that happening the other day on one of our streams where we started rolling because we were on a gradient and we hadn't paid attention to that. It's only a 0.1% gradient, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. We are ready to lock the doors. And away we go. Ooh. There's our camera getting bounced around because we're inside the tunnel. Yeah, we'll leave it on this side, I think. Although if we get an oncoming train, that might cause an issue. Let's position it about there. There we go. Just ease back. Get the whole train in shot. Beautiful. There we go. So you can see how bad our visibility is. You can see how little light we've got in front of our train there. One thing I do like about nighttime driving though is you see the signal lights really clearly, and I love watching them change as we go through them. for the train that's behind us on the line. Let's bring that camera a little bit closer forward. There we go. We're at max throttle, and again, we've only just reached 60 miles an hour. It does take us a little while to get going in this weather. Next stop coming up. Start to ease the brakes a little bit. We need to arrive now, so we might arrive just a minute behind on this one. Here's another 166 on the opposite line. On the way back to Paddington. I think, maybe. I do like the way you hear the air brakes hissing. Alright, so we were about a minute behind on that stop. Maybe we'll be able to make that up on the next one. Do I think Follow Me will be shown or be included in Farming Sim 19? I hope so, but I doubt it. It may become available to us as the game gets a bit older, but I don't know. Possibly. But we don't know for definite either way, and we're not going to know for definite either way until Giants really start to release more information. We've had quite a bit kind of, drip fed to us from various different places. And Gamescom is close, and I know that we'll actually see some gameplay reel footage start to make its way out there once Gamescom arrives. So some of the stuff that Giants have been keeping close to their chest is going to naturally leak out after Gamescom. But in terms of a lot more of the details, they'll hold back what they can. I think fan leakage is going to inevitably force their hand to reveal certain things ahead of their planned release. But they're going to play their cards close to their chest, I think, for a little while yet, before we really get down to the real nitty gritty of certain things. I do like seeing this snow on the line like this. Is that other train parked up, or is that just a lamp? That's just a light, isn't it? And there's a little depot there with some porter cabins. Ooh, hello, what is that? Is that a collectible? Or is that a mission point? That might be a mission startup point. I've not seen that before. I'll have to remember that. Let's see, our next stop. We're already behind schedule. This is the problem with the snow, is that it's so hard to claw back time that you've lost. But it wouldn't be a traditional British rail service, and I don't mean that as in the company British Rail, which is obviously defunct now, but just it wouldn't be a traditional British railway experience if everything ran smoothly and on time. So we can forgive slight delays like this. It's what we expect. It's standard practice. Loving the Lone Oak videos. When's the next one? Generally, I tend to release them every 2 days. One went live last night, so the next one should be... Was it earlier today? It might have been earlier today, actually. I honestly can't remember. The other one went live yesterday. I try and release them every 2 days, so hopefully the next one will go live tomorrow night. I need to record it though. I've kind of done the setup prep work for the start of it, so I'm going to try and do a little bit of recording once I finish streaming, and then I'll probably have to finish it off. Well, actually, no, I'll probably just stay up and finish it all off in one go tonight. Then it can upload while I'm sleeping, ready for its schedule. Off we go to Langley, and we need to be there in a minute. So yeah, we're going to be late at Langley as well, but not by much. It's so dark, we really can't see anything at all, can we? Look how bad it is still in cab. And because we're in a rural area now, you don't even get any sort of external lights apart from the occasional signal popping up. Do another live stream of Farming Simulator. I plan to. It's just a question of, I wanted to get these live streams out of the way first. I need to actually sit down and start recording some content, as in videos for this game, which I'll get done soon, as well as keep recording for Lone Oak. We've got new maps on the way. There are currently 4 new maps in the mod testing list for Farming Simulator. Plus we've got updates for 2 maps as well. So Lone Oak being one of them. Old Slovenian Farm is another one. Actually, I think it's Slovenian Hills, which might even in itself be a brand new map. So that might be 5 new maps. Do a Farming Sim stream after this one. I can't. I've got to record tomorrow's Lone Oak. So that's what I'm going to be doing when I finish this stream, is recording tomorrow's Lone Oak episode. And then I need sleep. So, like I said, I'm expecting at least one map to probably go live tomorrow. That's just generally the way things seem to go. Let's get our arrival in. How far behind schedule are we? Oh, we're only a few seconds behind. We're going to arrive just like 20 seconds outside of our window here. That's not too bad. I can live with that. Train doors released. On Lone Oak, I used a machine to gather in the edges of cut grass. What was it and where was it from? Do you mean the Coon merger? If so, it's from the Coon Pack DLC that came out last February, so a year and a half ago. What's our next stop timetable going to be? Can we make up those few seconds that we're running behind? 2.2 miles to Slough. Just over 2 minutes to get there. Yeah, well, we can just about do... Well, 3 minutes, I suppose, if you're lucky. We can probably just about make this. It's going to be tight. Am I looking forward to having John Deere in Farming Sim 19? Insofar as it's a new brand to play about with, yes. I don't get the huge obsession with John Deere. I don't have any relatable farming experience other than I play the farming simulator games. I've never done any farming. I don't know anyone who's a farmer, at least not personally. So, yeah, I don't have any special excitement over the fact that John Deere is in there. You know, I know for the American audience it's a huge deal because, you know, John Deere is a huge brand. For me, it's just another new brand to play about with. You know, I'm looking forward to playing around with them, but it's, you know, if John Deere wasn't in Farming Sim 19, it wouldn't, you know, mean I'd be less inclined to buy the game. For me, it's all about the gameplay and the mechanics rather than the actual brands that are in there. I mean, it's great that we have these brands, and it's great that John Deere has jumped on board at last. But, you know, if they turned around and said no, it wouldn't have stopped me from... It wouldn't have made me any less likely to buy Farming Sim 19. You know, and, you know, having John Deere doesn't make me any more likely to buy Farming Sim 19. I'm buying Farming Sim 19 because I love the Farming Simulator franchise, not because I love John Deere. Because I have no affinity for John Deere whatsoever. It's just another brand of tractors for me. Well, like I said, I know for the American audience it's a huge thing, you know, because, you know, a lot of, you know, the people who play the farming games in America have some kind of link to a farming background. Either they know people who are farmers, or, you know, they've, you know, part of their, you know, farming's been in their family. You know, they have an affinity for John Deere. Some people have grown up with John Deere's or use John Deere's in their day-to-day life. So, yeah, it's a huge thing for them. But, you know, for me, as I say, it's just another brand. That said, I am looking forward to being able to do content with John Deere in there, because it's something new to play about with. So, you know, depending on what the full equipment lineup is going to be for John Deere, we could look at doing maybe a John Deere themed farm. But if not, we could certainly look at bringing them into an American themed farm. Well, we could even bring them into any farm, really. John Deere is one of the biggest agricultural manufacturers in the world, so, you know, even here in the UK, they are one of the most popular brands for tractors in the UK. So it's the same for some countries in Europe as well. You look at the most popular brands, and some countries, you're a little surprised by what brands are the most popular used brands. Other countries, not so much. But yeah, John Deere is still huge in Europe, even if it's not necessarily the main brand in every country. It's usually in the top 5. Alright, How many more stops have we got to go to? Where are we going to? Is it Oxford we're headed to? I think it was Oxford, wasn't it? So we've still got a couple more stops at least. These passengers are taking their time to get on the train. You'd think they'd want to get out of this blizzard. But apparently, no, they want to stand around getting cold and wet on the platform. Come on, I'm going to move on. I want to close these doors and move on. And there we go. Right, let's get these doors closed. 5.7 miles to Maidenhead. And we've got to do it in 5.5 minutes. That's going to be tricky. Let's stay internal on this one. Anyone else with any Farming Sim 19 questions while we're kind of talking about Farming Simulator 19? We go through the yellow signal. We've got a red up ahead. Nope, we've got green. That's good. That's what we needed to see. Although we have got to slow down. We've got a 40 zone coming up. I wonder if we're crossing the tracks. Again, I can't see the points, so I can't see if we're going to be changing lines. Yes, we are. Look, we are changing. It's still changing. What is that out the window? I can't see out the window at all. Look, it's completely frozen up. Oh, it's buildings. I wasn't sure if that was another train for a second then. Alright, we can slap the throttle on again. We're now in a 125 mile an hour zone. Can't see a damn thing. Windows are completely frozen on the side here. Do I think that there will be some of the FS17 maps coming out right away when the game is released, or do you think they'll hold for a couple of months? I don't think it's a case of them holding them back for a couple of months. I think it's just a case of how long it takes for the mappers to actually code them. Now, when Farming Sim 17 came out, I don't know what the situation was like for PC. I'm guessing there are quite a few maps that came out very, very quickly. For consoles, this was the first time that people were coding maps and converting them to console code. So it took longer than expected. And so I think November, December was the first time we got our first maps. You know, we were looking at Chellington and Lawfolds were the first couple that we got. Drummard was another early one. Drummard, we didn't get that till March. And that's one of the earliest maps that we got. So, just before that, I think, we'd had Oldstream version 2. That came out January, I think it was. I think it was January that came out. Yeah, because it was around the end of January, beginning of February time that they announced that they were working on the Valley of the Old Farm. So, that one came out in January. So yeah, it took a while for those maps to come out because it was the first time that people had actually seen or been able to actually try and code for console. This time around, you know, those guys have got some experience already. So the transition from 17 to 19 will be a similar experience, but it won't be the first time that they'll be trying to get something onto a console. They'll have had practice. You know, Black Sheep, I'm sure that they will try and get South Mountain Creamery onto Farming Sim 19. I don't know about the Valley of the Old Farm. I don't know if we'll see old streams again. You never know. I know that Oxygen David is looking at bringing Oakfield and Shamrock Valley over to Farming Sim 19, and once Bill gets up and running again, I'm sure he's going to try and get Lone Oak ready for Farming Sim 19. He said as much in the comments on his page that he wants to bring that one across. I'm not sure about the West Coast or Coldborough as to whether we'll see Farming Sim 19 versions of those or not. But yeah, I think we'll see some of those 17 maps, and of course there's other mappers out there that may try and bring their maps across as well that I haven't heard anything about yet. So I think we'll still have to wait a little while. I don't think they'll be there right at launch, but I think they will come. Easing off on the throttle because we've got a 40 zone coming up. See, we need to arrive at Maidenhead in about 10 seconds. We might be a minute late on this one. Ease that throttle back again for the 40. Lots of line switching going on here. I can't see any of it because because of that snow underneath the wipers. Let's start slowing down a touch more again. We are very, very close to the station now. Yeah, we're going to be again about a minute or so behind our supposed arrival time. Our traction is so poor that it takes us a long time to get up to speed, which isn't helping us. There we go. Right, let's get those doors open. I should do a John Deere farm on the American map for Farming Sim 19 like I did with Fent Farm. Well, again, it depends on the equipment lineup that we're going to get with John Deere for Farming Sim 19. It could be a lot of equipment like New Holland. It could be an average amount of equipment like, say, Massey Ferguson. It could only be a few pieces of equipment like... well, like Fent, really. You know, you take the mod pack of the combines out and the mod tractors that we've had, and Fent, you know, the in-game Fent stuff is a 700 and a 900 and a 300, and that's it. 3 tractors, that's it. That's base game material for Fent. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what the equipment line's going to be before we can say what themes we're going to do. But I think when I do the first stuff for Farming Sim 19, I'm not going to do a themed farm. I'm going to just see, you know, what the map looks like, because we know that there's going to be 2 new maps. So maybe the American map I can split and just do half of the equipment lineup, so we can look at doing Case and Challenger and John Deere and stuff on the American map, and then for, you know, the European map we can look at, you know, Fent and maybe a bit of Massey, some New Holland, some Valtra, whatever. We'll see. Yeah, we'll mix it up a bit, but I won't have a theme. It'll maybe be a European theme or an American theme, but it won't be an individual brand theme. Yeah, so that we can try out a lot of new equipment, because we're going to see some new equipment. You know, we're not just going to see a new brand, but we're going to see new equipment as well. I'm sure of that. Some pieces of equipment will disappear from our current lineup. Other pieces of equipment will be added in. So it'll be interesting to see what the whole roster of stuff will shake out to be. And we'll want to play about with that. And we'll play about with both of the maps. But I don't know whether to focus on just one of the maps and do that every day for a month. Or do both maps at the same time. I think I might just do one map, then switch to the second map. And then spend a month on that, and then we'll start getting some mob maps out that we can start playing around with by that point as well, hopefully. What's my favourite TV programme? I don't really watch TV as such. I mean, I don't watch terrestrial TV. I don't watch the usual programmes. I watch a bit of stuff on YouTube, and I watch Netflix. And that's probably about it. So there's a lot of stuff on Netflix that I do enjoy. I love the way that they've done the Marvel stuff on Netflix. So The Punisher, Daredevil, Luke Cage is pretty good. Iron Fist not so much, but The Defenders was good. Jessica Jones has been pretty good. There's a lot of series that I do like and watch on a regular basis. Power, the new season of Power has just come out on the UK Netflix, so I'm just starting to watch that. Orange is the New Black has just come out with its latest season. I'm watching that. Sherlock season 4 finally got released on Netflix in the UK, so I've just finished watching season 4 of Sherlock. Love that show. And Rick and Morty is a show that's shown on Netflix, everywhere but America. So I love watching Rick and Morty. That's a fantastic show. I love that show. Is the snow an option, or is it part of the scenario? This isn't actually a scenario. This is just me running a service, and you can choose whether or not you can choose your weather conditions. So you can choose whether you want spring, summer, autumn, or winter, and then you can choose from clear, rainy, cloudy, foggy, and with winter, obviously, you've got the case of snow and blizzard. So you've got different weather options and different time of day. And different season that you can play about with as well when you're looking to run a service. And then you can just go in and choose which service you want to run and at what time of day. Roy says there are a lot of glitches on the American train lines. I don't know if there's a lot of glitches. I came across a glitch on my last stream where I couldn't I was trying to flip a signal, a switch, and it wasn't actually changing the icon. And then when I got back in the cab, it glitched me, and I couldn't get out of the cab to try again. So I had to try and do it through camera movement instead. And yeah, that was a bit of an issue. But that was the only glitch I've experienced on my 2 or 3 runs on the American lines. So I don't know if it's a lot of glitches. I've come across one, but obviously there may be others out there. But it's a brand new game. You always expect glitches with brand new games. I don't think there's been a game that's been released in perfect condition that I can think of in the last 10 years. Every single game now pretty much has a day one patch of some kind. They'll ship it in whatever condition it's in, whether it's finished or not. And then if it's not finished, they'll try and finish it off quickly, because obviously they have to send these games out to be printed on discs and packaged and then shipped out to retailers. So a game is technically sort of finished in its day one state 3 or 4 weeks before the game is actually launched, because it has to then go off and, as I say, be pressed onto discs and put in cases, shipped out to retailers. That's effectively the finished product, whether it's actually finished or not. And then if it needs a day one patch to fix a glitch that's been discovered because they didn't have time to fix it before they sent it out for shipping, or if they just didn't finish the game, they desperately need to put a big day one patch out there, like a multi-gig day one patch to finish the game itself. I can't think of any game that hasn't had glitches or additional stuff added in right at the very start of it. I can't think of a single one. ever since, it's going back all the way through PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. PlayStation 2, I think, was the last time that you got games that didn't get patches. Alright, let's make our approach to Twyford. We've got to be getting close to Oxford now. That's close enough. Get the doors open. The service just whistled through at high speed there. Can't see a damn thing out the window, so I couldn't see which line it was on. In my honest opinion, do I think this game is kind of a novelty, meaning it's exciting and cool for about a week of playing, and then you're going to get bored and move on? It's a game that doesn't have a lot of content at this stage. It's definitely going to need to be supplemented with DLCs, and I think how expensive those DLCs are will determine how much you end up continuing to play the game in the future, and how often these come as well. If they're rattling out DLCs every month, that's great, but if they're expensive DLCs, then that's a problem. It depends how much they're going to cost and how frequently they're coming. If you have to wait 6 months between each pack, and then they don't add that much, and they cost you a fortune, that's going to be a real problem for this game. In terms of, do I think it's a novelty act? No, I don't think so. I think it's a kind of a hardcore simulator. So you've got to want to play this kind of simulator on a regular basis. I look at this in the same way as I look at Mud Runner. Mud Runner was fantastic fun, a little limited, full of free DLCs. I guess Class 43 was in past us. We now know that I think it's American Wildlands is the name of the paid DLC that's coming up, which is the expansion that's coming out later this year. No official date has been announced yet. They've just officially announced that it is coming. And they haven't shown any shots of the game yet because there aren't licensed brands that they're in there, but they're still working on stuff, and they're still working on the full lineup of stuff. So they don't want to go ahead and name official brands yet until they've actually got all that sorted. But that's going to come out, and that game was a lot of fun for a period of time, and then once you'd completed it, it kind of lost its edge a little bit, lost its appeal. But I still play that every now and again, and I think you have to look at this game as the same thing as Mud Runner. It's a simulator. It's not a game that's going to have a huge long storyline or quest line. It's not a game that's going to have a 20 to 40 hour campaign mode, and then lots and lots of side quests to do on the side. This is a little bit different, so. Yeah, you have to kind of bear that in mind if it's a game you're thinking of playing and thinking of investing in. Is if you played Spin Tires, use that as a barometer. Because this is a kind of a similar kind of thing to Spin Tires. Once you've done everything, are you going to say that's it? I've done everything. There's nothing left to do. I'm never going to play it again, or are you going to go? I enjoyed that. I want to play it again. I don't mind if I'm playing the same scenarios again. But I think there's definitely more than just a week's worth of life in this game. And again, it depends how much you play it in that week as well, whether you're playing it like multiple hours a day, every single day. If this is a game that you ration yourself on a little bit, and mix it up with some other games, then this game could last you quite a while. But if you play nothing but this all day, every day, then yeah, you're going to burn through the content really quickly, and then it's up to you as to whether you want to go back and play it again. Train Sim World posted a link earlier saying what they were hoping to bring to the game. I'll have to check that out once the stream is finished. Anyone gets stuck in the cab, says the door is locked. Well, if the train is... if it's saying the door is locked, you've got two different camera modes. You've got standard camera mode where you can do this and you can look around, you've got the small dot. And then you've got this camera mode where you can actually move your cursor independently, and you can't open doors and move around when you've got that cursor. You're stood on the spot, and you can turn on the spot, but you can't move forward. And it might be that was the case. It might be that you had the wrong cursor up. Okay, so we need to start slowing down because we've got a 40 zone coming up. Oh, it's the emergency brake. I don't want the emergency brake. Braking 2 will do. There we go. Because we're crossing points again. That's why we're getting slowed right down. See, it's just shot us forward up to 125 again, but now we're crossing points again, hence another 40 zone. And then it goes back up to 90 once we clear these points. But, you know, by that point we're close to the station, so we're not going to get anywhere close to 90 miles an hour. You know, inside a mile now from Reading. Oh, yeah, maybe we chose a Reading service then. I thought we were going to Oxford. Oh, need to slow down again. See another 40 zone coming up. That might be another point change. Again, I can't see what line I'm actually running on because of that snow underneath the wiper. Alright, Martin's heading out. Thanks for stopping by again, Martin, and again, thank you for the donations to the page recently. Very, very much appreciated. Oh, this is our final stop. So yeah, it must have been the service terminating at Reading. 2054, yeah, we're a minute behind. That's not too bad. Okay, so bring the train to a stop. Let's get the doors open on the right side. There we go. I think once these passengers are loaded, that'll be it. We'll be able to close things down and jump off the train. Would I consider doing a series on South Mountain Creamery alongside Lone Oak if it comes out shortly? Well, it's due out soon. It's in testing right now. It's actually made it into the console testing thread at the start of this week. That's one of the 4 or 5 new maps that's currently being tested. So, you never know, we might see it this week. I'll definitely be doing a map tour on it. And in terms of doing a series on it, it's too early to divert away from Lone Oak. We still haven't finished year one yet. You know, we've only done 2 seasons effectively. You know, summer and autumn. We'll kind of gloss through winter a little bit because winter is winter, and there's only so much you can do. But I don't think I'll run a series alongside it. I don't think I could do justice to either maps if I try to run them side by side, because I do want to try and do some other games as well. And once you try and do too much stuff, it just causes all sorts of issues. Well, here's our mission summary. We were slightly behind schedule, but only by a minute. You see that we lost time at West Drayton. That was where we lost time, you know, and then we were just 1 minute behind schedule all the way through from there. But we hit our stopping points on every single location. So another very, very good service run indeed. Very proud of that. Very proud of that indeed. I think we did well. My level just shot right up to level 15 there. Service is scheduled to start at 20:58. Oh, are we going to take this on to another location? We're going to take this to the depot. I'm going to stick around and see what happens. I was going to say let's jump out and maybe look at one more train run before we head off, but I think I'm going to stick around and see what happens at 20:58. Because that's only 50 seconds. That's only 30 seconds away. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Objective complete. Or is that just waiting for us to be able to get off the train? Oh, yeah, please exit the vehicle. Okay. Wow, look at these windows, look, just iced over. Okay, so we've exited the vehicle. Now what? Is it giving us the opportunity to run that one back? I suppose it might be. Got a footbridge here. Let's see what happens if we try and hijack the other train. This platform. Do you want to leave service and take control of this rail vehicle instead? So you could take over this service if you wanted to. We're not going to, because I want to see... It's telling me to get out of the vehicle. I've done that. Maybe it is just running around in free mode now. Slightly disappointed there's no actual live departures up here, so we can actually see what's what. Do I want to give up control of service? Yes. So is that train about to pull off? Yeah, it's off, look. It's gone. So maybe we could have stayed there. Oh, never mind. We've got a class 43 on the other line. I wonder if we can run that one back. I haven't tried driving one of these in the snow. And here you can see, look, you can raise and lower the windows on the class 43 doors, which is kind of cool. It's a long old train, this. We'll just jump on, make our way through. This is the first class / buffet car. More first class seating. And that's it. That's as far as I can go forward. And here's the engine. So it should give me the option to take control. Oh, look at that. That's a very bright colour scheme. And look at the snow on here. Wait for scheduled service to depart at 21:05. So we can run back. I'm not sure where we're running to, but we can. Master key is unlocked. Reverser, set that to forwards. Where's all the wipers and stuff in this cab? I haven't driven this in the snow. That's my cab lights. I need those on so I can see what I'm doing. There's the wipers. We are parked. Let's see if that actually does anything. Nope. Oh, the wipers are slow on this. They're really slow. Look how quickly the snow is coming back on the screen again. Well, thank you, Carl. That's a very kind thing for you to say there. I try to put a lot of time and effort into my my videos, to make sure that I'm presenting something that is thorough as well as enjoyable. It's not always easy. It's difficult to strike a balance sometimes, but you know, I like to think that I do a good job, and I'm certainly proud of the content that I put out. So train brake. I do like this. You can actually see your lights down here. You can see them changing on the display. I've just got to find where the lights are. Here we go. So you can see on that little panel below the phone, you can see the lights. Actually shows you exactly what's coming on each setting, which is a really cool little touch. I like that. I think we're pretty much ready to go. We've just got to wait for this train to get to the right time. So where I know you've got to use, I'm pretty much sure you have to use the D-pad for the doors on this. I haven't found door controls. Doesn't mean they aren't there, but I'm just not sure where they are, if they are in here. I do like the sound of the horn just every now and again. What else have we got control-wise? Engine start with train's already running. Less than 30 seconds now, or 30 seconds until we need to head off. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else that's going to be really useful. So, let's do the doors, make sure that we're ready to lock them. There we go. There's a guard buzzer somewhere on here, but I can't remember exactly where it is. One of these buttons here, I think. So I thought it was. We are not moving. Train brake in full service. Put it in running. What am I missing? Oh, reverse is in neutral. How did that happen? There we go. Now we're off and running. Wipers on the Class 43s don't have a speed. They have a wash setting, so you can wash your windscreen. And they have on, and they have off. That's it. Oh, I thought my cab light was on. There we go. That's more like it. Oh, this is a really weird experience. I can't see a damn thing. This is worse than driving the Class 166. Because the wiper is so slow. You get to see the track briefly, and then it just disappears again. Hi there, Ben. Welcome to the stream. Right. Got any other controls here that I can mess around with? Nope. Oh, no, just applied the emergency brake. That's not good. Now I have to put the brakes back in full service to get the brake pressures back up. I have to kill the throttle. There we go. Alright, we're off and running. We can't see where the hell we're going, but we're off and running. Oh, this is a nightmare. This is why trains get cancelled in weather like this, because it's impossible to see anything at all. It's terrifying in some respects. But we have a 33-mile run, so barring the odd speed change, this is pretty much it now. So let's take a look at the external. Why aren't my lights on? There we go. Some weird flashes going on behind us there. What is that? It's a weird little graphical thing. Make our way back towards the front of the train again. Interior lights are on, good. I think I should be responding to these signals. That's the AWS. I need to get back inside. Internal cameras. Thought it was the AWS. I don't know which control I'm supposed to be hitting. I could have sworn it was this. Why is this beeping at me? That was the driver buzzer. That was what I was looking for earlier. Actually, yeah, the X at the station is your stopping point rather than your arrival time. That's what it's judged on. I thought that at first as well. I can't find what I need to be hitting to stop this beeping. Oh, windscreen de-icer. I wonder if that's going to help. Oh no, I thought that was I saw an objective marker. It's the station 29 miles away. What the hell do I have to hit to stop this damn buzzing noise? Lower gear, then back up again. Thank you. That's the first time I've heard that. No idea what was... and not been able to stop it. Do I only play sim games? Do I play Call of Duty, Fortnite, etc.? I lost my appetite for competitive gaming a couple of years ago. I used to play a lot of first-person shooters. I was a huge fan of Battlefield 3. Played that online all the time. Got really good at it. Not world-class good, not necessarily professional good, but good enough that I could hold my own. I could run an M1 Abrams on my own with no other passengers and rack up like a 40 plus kill streak, or I say 40 plus kill streak. Finish with like 40 odd kills and only a small number of deaths. But yeah, it's not something I have any appetite for anymore. I get fed up with the trolling, and when you have bad lag, it just drives me crazy. And yeah, I've grown out of those games now. I'm pushing 40. I'm getting too old for that kind of stuff. As Murtar was saying, I'm too old for this shit. Ah, the DSD. That's what I was looking for. I still play, some games like FIFA and stuff, but I don't play them competitively because, I play them just because I enjoy playing the game. I don't play them because I want to be good against other people, because, I know I'll just get whooped every time, and what's the point in going online and playing competitively when you know you don't have a hope in hell? Yeah, I'm going to be 40 late at the end of this year. I'm 39, turned 40 in December. Like I said, getting up. So now, for me, gaming is more about relaxing and having a more chilled out experience. It's why I enjoy Farm Sim so much, because there's no stress, there's no pressure with Farm Sim. You can work to your own pace, you can do what you want to do, there's no competitive element. I mean, obviously I know that they're adding quote unquote competitive multiplayer in Farming Sim 19, but it's not like it's your only multiplayer experience. It's an option that they're adding into an existing multiplayer setup. So yeah, that's the way I feel. I don't have any real interest in hardcore online gaming anymore. I did it for too many years and it burnt me out. Let's jump back outside the train. going to see if I can get a train to pass me on the line next to us like that. There we go. Am I still dropping speed? No, I should be. Yeah, I am. I'm dropping speed. Put the brakes into full service by mistake. I need to let them charge back up. See my brake pressure in the bottom right of the corner. There we go. It's released the brake pressure there. Let's release the throttle, reapply the throttle. There we go. Now the engine's kicking back up again. I must be a Nighthawk, isn't it, like 2 AM in England? Yeah, it's 2:09 at the moment. Well, 2:09 on my laptop. It's 2:15 on my microwave. So, I'm going to check my phone and take the average, 2:10. So my microwave has gained 5 minutes somewhere. It's a bit odd. I'll have to reset the clock on that. Yeah, I'm a night owl. Oh, look, I've got a freight train running through. That's what I was hoping to see. Another train whizzing through at close proximity. Yeah, I tend to kind of live on American time because I'm not in work, so you know, I'm asleep during the mornings. I'm usually up at some point in the afternoon, and then sleep, you know, go to bed some point in the early hours of the morning. I'm going to be recording. I got up late today. I overslept. I had too much sleep, and so I'm not tired. And obviously, I've done the live stream and I've drunk some drinks, so I'm going to be awake for a while yet. So I'm going to be recording tomorrow's Low Noke as soon as I finish on this. So this is the final run we're doing, and once this is over, that's it. I'm off for the night to do some recording. Get tomorrow's Low Noke episode ready. And then once I've recorded that, I've then got to edit it, and then it can upload on a scheduled release time while I'm sleeping. I just hope that they don't release mods sort of like midday, because I'm not going to be up till mid-afternoon now. Well, this is the thing. I mean, the American / North American audience makes up, you know, the largest percentage of my viewership on my videos. Period. You know, not so much on my live streams because I don't really tend to do that much in the way of live streaming. But all the videos I release, the largest percentage of where my viewers come from is North America, more than the UK. So it's kind of weird, but that's why my videos tend to be released a little bit later, you know, because, you know, I try and balance it so that it's not too early in the day, you know, so it's, you know, it depends on your time zone. So if I release something at sort of 8 o'clock here in the UK, then, you know, that's still 3 o'clock in the afternoon if you're on the East Coast. If you're West Coast, it's like midday. So, but it's not too late, I think. Hopefully, for for the UK audience at 8 o'clock at night. So we are 13 miles out from Paddington now. How are we doing on time? We've got 15 minutes before we need to be there. I think we'll be absolutely fine on this. You know what? Something I haven't tried doing is this. Let's run the camera like this. Try and get it squared up a bit. There we go. I've not run a camera like this before. I don't know why. Really gives you a good sense of speed, especially when you're running the HST and you're going upwards of 120 plus miles an hour. Just need another train to come along now. See that whizzing alongside with this really low on the rail vantage point, like a nose camera. I'm looking forward to seeing us arriving into Paddington like this as well. I actually quite like this perspective. Tweak it ever so slightly. What it looks like if I go down even lower. That is pretty low. Of course, you don't really see much of the scenery when you're down here, but having said that, it's what it's late at night, it's dark, there's snow everywhere. We can't really see that much anyway. If I take the camera up, it's not like we can see that much up here. We can see a little bit more, but not a huge amount more. And you really do get a big sense of speed down here. And look how quickly we're reeling in Paddington. We're only 7 miles away now. We've covered 5 miles in the space of a couple of minutes. I mean, we are doing 125 miles an hour, so you kind of expect that, but even so. Okay, we've got a 100 mile an hour zone coming up soon, just over 2 miles away. And the speed we're going, we're reeling that in really quickly. I'm going to go to coast. So the speed will start to bleed away a little bit. And then I'll have to apply some brakes in a moment. Once we get to a mile out, I'll have to actually start braking down. And the closer we get to Paddington, the more these speed changes are going to happen. So the more we're going to have to start easing the throttle down and easing the brakes off. So let's go to initial. Is that going to be enough? Oh, the little 166 whizzed through for a second then. Really, really fast as that whizzed past. Yeah, initial brakes is enough to slow us down to 100. Just. There we go. Let's see here, we go 2.5 miles now, we're down to 50. So again, we're going to have to we'll get a little bit close and then we'll start to ease off a little bit. I'm going to raise the camera up just a touch. There we go. Starting to get some lag here as we're going through. You see the frame rate suffering just a little bit. The blizzard doesn't help. And now we are a mile away from a 50 zone, so let's add some brakes. Initial is not going to be enough. We're going to need to go to brake 2, maybe even brake 3. It's going to brake 3, we're not slowing down fast enough. There we go. 50 miles an hour for the 50 zone. There. Ooh, damn it. It's rested my controller down and it immediately slammed the brakes on full. Let's see, we are 1.9 miles out. Speed is still 50. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're way ahead of schedule. Look, I've done it again. Look, damn it. I just shifted my weight and caught the L2 trigger. Accelerate back up a little bit. I'm going to get another speed reduction coming up in just a moment. There we go, we're 1.2 miles out. Into the next 50 zone. Now we're into a 40 zone, so I need to slow the train down again. And now a 25 mile an hour zone coming up. We're on the approach to Paddington. This is where everything slows right down. And the main reason we're slowing down so early to slow speeds is because of the sheer number of lines that are all converging on a single location. To stop trains overlapping with each other, because you need to switch over from line to line depending on which platform you're going into. You can see here we're kind of drifting onto a different line a little bit. And I'm sure we'll end up hitting some points in a moment. This might be our final... I'm not sure. Yeah, here we go. See, we're switching lines again. Slowing down for the 25 mile an hour zone that we're in. And we're on our final line now. This is the platform we're rolling in on. Let's see if I can actually slow this down and not end up derailing the train on the buffers like I did last time. That was not my finest moment at all. Quite a big, long train, so there's a bit of weight behind it, so it'll take us a little while to slow down, as you can see. Hear those brakes squealing away. I think we're going to judge this just about right. Look at that. Fantastic. So, yeah, last time I tried this, I went straight into the buffers and derailed the train. Not a particularly proud moment there. So we're inside the cab. We're going to have to wait for the passengers to get off the train. It says load passengers, but it's just the passenger cycle. They're actually getting off. This is a service I think that's terminating. I don't know, it might be going on another one. But we're going to call it a night here, so we're going to have to wait probably for a certain point before we can get off the train. Cracked my knee there. What would be one of the PC mods that I would like to see on console? I'm guessing you're talking for Farming Simulator. As someone who plays solo a lot, you know, the mod that I would most love to see is Courseplay, because it would allow me to run a big farm with a lot of automated help, you know, which you just can't do on your own very easily. You know, it's there's a lot of constraints on the single player. I've locked the wrong doors, haven't I? There we go. we missed our stopping distance, apparently. I thought we got that just right. Or maybe it's because we arrived too early. I don't know. I'm still not 100% certain. It's this red X thing. It seems to be a combination of location, of arrival time, and also distance from where you're supposed to stop. But yeah, there we go. That was Paddington. Sorry, Reading to London Paddington. Bumped me up to level 15. So that's it. That's the end of our little sort of stream session tonight. Platform came in on platform 3 there. So, those of you that have stuck around from the very beginning, you've been going for nearly 3.5 hours now. So good job for you guys who've been sticking around since the beginning. For those of you that are coming a little bit late, I hope you've seen some good footage that you've enjoyed. This is going to be the last of my First Look live streams at Train Sim World. We'll probably do another one of these at some point, maybe next week. But I'm going to start working on recording some actual videos for this now, rather than doing live streams. And obviously, we've got Lone Oak to work on as well. I'll try and do some farming sim live streaming from time to time, and I'll probably do a little bit of live streaming on South Mountain Creamery. Although I might do a little bit of live streaming on just random maps. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of my run today. So thanks for watching. If you want to check me out on Twitter, you can find me at JBPG_JimBob. Feel free to follow me if you want to just get notifications of when stuff goes live on the channel, and also links to other bits and bobs that I do. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/JimBobPlaysGames. If you want to be an amazingly super awesome guy, like Marcel and Martin have been, then you can also donate to the channel. There is a donate button on my Facebook page, so you can hit that and make a small contribution to the channel. It's not at all compulsory, it's not expected. Any donations I do receive are to go straight into funding purchases of additional games for the channel, so we can try and bring you new content. So please do not feel under any obligation to make a donation, but if you do want to, then you would be super awesome and amazing, and I will most certainly give you a shout out next time I do a stream or work you into a video somewhere. That's the end of the stream. I'm off now to go and record the next episode of Farming Sim 17 Lone Oak. That'll be out in 16 hours or so, 15.5 hours I hope, depending on how quickly I can get it uploaded, edited. It might be a little bit later. It also depends on what goes live tomorrow in terms of mods, if any. But the next Lone Oak should, in theory, go out tomorrow. I might hold it back a day if we get multiple maps go live. And I will see you all again very soon.